Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. Well, this particular story has everything to do with our youth today, especially in our urban and black community and marketplace. We are failing our kids each and every day, and our kids are failing themselves. We need to be protesting. Where is Black Lives Matter? We need to be in front of these public schools, marching and protesting about the ineptness and the poor educational tools and resources at our inner city schools. Our kids in many of our urban markets, our ninth graders are reading on a 4th and 5th grade level. Their math scores are on a 4th or 5th grade level. We need to be protesting that. We need more mentorship. Half of our urban schools have 40% subs, permanent subs that are teaching. Not permanent staffed teachers who have all the credentials and accreditations to be teaching full time. We're creating a very large disservice to our children, and they are growing up too fast. We have too many fatherless homes. These kids are seeing grown-up things at 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and they're coming to school with many issues that our underpaid and underappreciated teachers have to take on. Our elementary, middle school, high school teachers are not just there to teach. They have to be a mentor. They have to be a therapist. They have to be a friend to a certain degree. They have to be an advisor to these students. And school should be a safe haven for these kids to feel safe and to get a good, healthy, nourishing meal. And there's a lot of chaos and disruption that's going on. And with these kinds of test scores, and kids, the average test score, ACT scores are 13. These kids cannot even get into college, don't even want to go to college. Many of these young kids have been programmed through social media to chase the bag by any means necessary. And so 99% are going to fail. So you're going to have the prison to pipeline scenario. These kids are going to go right from high school, 18, become adults, make adult poor decisions, and then they have to deal with adult consequences. How do we break that cycle? There are way too many guns on the streets, even in places like the state of Illinois, which is not an open carry state. There are too many illegal guns on our streets, and too many homicides and shootings that are taking place. In Missouri, it's an open carry. And some people have theories that whether it's an open carry state like Missouri or or Illinois, where you can't have an open carry, you have to have a permit. Where are all these illegal guns coming from? Is there a certain level of self-inflicted genocide that is taking place in our urban cities? Is this by design? We know that 90% of homicides or shootings or assaults that are taking place in our urban marketplaces is based on proximity and you knowing that person. So how do we break that cycle? And it's not just happening. These issues with shootings and violence and focusing on the wrong things is not just happening in our big cities, our mid-major cities like Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Atlanta, Los Angeles. It's in our mid-major cities like St. Louis, Detroit. It's a panacea across our entire country, where we're seeing a high level of violence, while many of our politicians are saying that violence is down in their major blue cities, which I don't believe. Just ask somebody that's been a victim of violence, they would tell you violence is up. Violence is decimating our country. And we are living in a godless society, a fatherless society, a broken home society, broken school society, and we need to change that. But this situation, and I've been holding on to this story and been meaning to do it for a while, but you got to hear this one out of Leland, Mississippi. Leland. And I'm sure many people have not heard of Leland, Mississippi. And they are being inundated with violence too, across the state of Mississippi and many of its cities. So violence is happening everywhere. It doesn't matter your race, creed, or color, or zip code, or whether it's city, county, or suburb. Violence can come knocking at your door at any time. Now, this situation was over the homecoming weekend at a high school football game where you're supposed to be celebrating, enjoying the festivities of a high school game. And guess what? Adult gunplay takes place. And when you see the ages of the victims and the perpetrators, where these people have their entire lives in front of them, get destroyed by poor decisions, poor immorality and unethical decision making, a godless based existence, chase the bag by any means necessary, a high opioid and drug infested society that we live in. These are the things and the consequences and the choices and consequences that come with it. So this happened back in November. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but this, here again, my channel is to open your eyes and ears, keep your head on a swivel, and stay prayerful. And let's try to make this world a better place through mentorship and love, which is an action and a verb. So 4 got arrested in connection with a shooting that left 6 dead. 4 got arrested in connection with a shooting that left 6 dead, 10 wounded in Mississippi. 4 people were arrested on criminal charges related to the Leland, Mississippi shooting over a weekend back in November. 6 people were killed and at least 10 others were injured in a shooting that erupted on a Friday in the small town's downtown area. Leland Mayor John Lee, speaking at a news conference over that weekend, said the city was experiencing a great loss and asked for prayers. On that Monday, the FBI in Jackson, Mississippi announced that Morgan Lattimore, here are the perpetrators, the alleged perpetrators. Morgan Lattimore, 25, listen to these ages, Tevion L. Powell, 29, and William Bryant, 29, were charged with capital murder. These people are young enough to where they should be starting their lives off, finishing college, trade school, starting a family, starting their career, their job, and these guys have decided to allegedly commit these crimes all the way to being charged with capital murder. We are living in a time of the children of the corn, and something needs to change. We're going to lose an entire segment or generation of people of color through incarceration, death, and demise. The 4th suspect, Latoya A. Powell, she's 44, has been charged with attempted murder, according to the FBI. On that Friday, State Senator Derek Simmons told Jackson ABC affiliate WAPT the people were at a gathering, listen to this, following the Leland High School homecoming football game when the shooting happened. At a high school football game. And they decided to turn it into the Wild Wild West. The Washington County Coroner's Office said it received notifications on that Saturday that 2 additional victims had died from their injuries. The coroner's office identified those deceased victims as 18-year-old Amos Brantley Jr., 18, and 34-year-old Jamichael Jones. The other victims who were pronounced dead at the scene of the shooting were identified by the coroner's office. Here again, listen to these ages and these names. People of color and young people. We need to, and this is black on black crime. Where's Black Lives Matter and where's the protest for this? Black people are killing each other each and every day at a much more alarming rate than some other race of people harming us. There is a certain level of abhorrent behavior that is taking place and hatred for one another that needs to stop. There was also, the coroner's office said, 18-year-old Caslin Johnson died, 19-year-old Calvin Plant, and 41-year-old Orishima Johnson, and 25-year-old Shelbania Powell all died. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives is also assisting in the investigation, providing DNA analysis, and also working to potentially match shell casings to other firearms using a national automated system. This could have easily been in another city, just like it was here in Leland, Mississippi, the mayor of Leland said. And remember, this is back in November, just a few months ago, 2025, over a homecoming high school football game in a small town like Leland, Mississippi. What do you think is taking place in many of our bigger, larger cities? There are shootings happen every hour of every day, and especially in places of celebration. In Chicago, where there's Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, those weekends of celebrations have turned into weekends of mass murders every single year, and it needs to stop. The city is about 3,600 people and is located 115 miles north of Jackson, Mississippi. But there's been a string of shootings in Mississippi throughout the state over that same weekend. So that happened on a Friday. On the Saturday, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation said it was investigating a shooting at Alcorn State University in Loreman, Mississippi, that left one person dead and 2 others wounded. The shooting led to a shelter-in-place order being issued for the campus. This is at Alcorn State, at a university where you're supposed to be there to learn. Authorities said the shooting occurred about 6:30 p.m. and near the campus of the Industrial Technology Building, and no arrest had been made. About a half an hour later, authorities in Jackson said a child was shot in the abdomen near a tailgate section at Jackson State University Stadium. The child was taken to the hospital, and there was no update on that condition. This is all over the same weekend. On that Friday evening, 2 people were killed in a shooting in Heidelberg, Mississippi, on the grounds of a high school. And people don't know, you have a shooting at your universities, at these high schools, that goes from a state crime to a federal charge. And the Jasper County Sheriff's Office later said that it had taken an 18-year-old man into custody for questioning in the connection of that shooting. So all these shootings happen at high schools, 2 universities. This is in Mississippi, where you have racial dynamics taking place, but this is black on black crime that's taking place. And this stuff needs to end. We need to raise our voices and raise our protest on making sure our inner city schools are better and that gun violence goes straight down to zero. There's too much going on in our urban cities.